And you're absolutely right with that. And the reason that's why you were brought out. You have to ask, you have to look at that. You can't it's like if you're in the eye of the storm, in the eye of the tornado, you can't see what's going on the outside. So it's almost a calm what's going on the inside, and you really don't you can't feel for it. But when you get outside of it, then you can see, and you can devise a plan as to how can I dissipate this storm, how can I make this better. And that's the reason, this is the reason why this is your voice, this is your horn, if you will. Whenever something was happening or they wanted to bring the people together, there was the one who had the horn, and they would sound the horn and blow so many blasts so that all the people would listen, would come together. And they knew, depending on what the blasts were, how many they were from the horn and the sound that was blown, that whether this was a danger call or a call to action, or if this was a call for happiness, for celebration. So this is your horn. Keep blowing your horn. That's all I can tell you. Keep blowing it, keep telling it, and put together that 10-year plan and align with others, so that there's that accord that you're talking about. We are speaking on that one accord. Everybody's agree. We're going to do one show a month or two shows a month, and these are going to focus on these topics that are going to actually make the change. We're going to be the ones, we're going to be the pebble droppers, is what I call it. That's what I see myself as. I drop that pebble on the ocean that becomes a tsunami on distant shores.
Yeah, that is it. I believe that. All right, now talking of 10 years plan, you and I have you have told me about your 10 years goal. Let's explore that a little bit. What are you thinking in the next 10 years? Educate us about that.
Okay, in the next 10 years, what I want to be able to have is, I set up for this one church organization here. They had 146 church plantings throughout the African continent,
So
and
that they get a church,
churches.
churches.
Yeah, they're building churches. The
Okay.
people, yeah, the people in Africa are building the churches, bricks, making the bricks and building the brick churches. And then what the funding that they were looking for me was for the to put the roofs and the foundations, the concrete foundation, and then the roof on the top of the building. And that, for us, that was not a lot, because it's really, each building was only about $1,500. So that was really not a lot of US dollars for money for us to raise and to help them do that. But what I want to do within the next 10 years is, everywhere that they have those churches planted, I want to build a STEM tech center, science, technology, engineering, mathematical center, and space, STEM and space centers. And that way that the people that are in those villages, those cities where their churches are, and they're in about 30 different, across 30 different countries there, their children will be able to study that information firsthand. They won't have to, have someone bringing it to them. It'll be their knowledge. Teach them. I'm a proponent, I'm a master trainer. And what I do is I train others to train, so that I'm not trying to bring you my information and feed that to you. I want you to learn it so that you can then turn around and teach it. I won't, I want 120 years, but I don't expect to be here forever. So you need to pass that knowledge on, and let these young folks get up and do something. So I want to have that. So that's 146 space centers. And in each of those areas where we have that, we're also going to be, I have a modular building company here in the United States. And so I want to take that and be able to build those in Africa. And then that way the people, again, give them the knowledge so that they can build their homes, because you build a home inside of the factory, build the factories, build a home. When you produce something, that's when it's yours. It's not mine. It's not somebody else's. It's your stamp, it's your name, it's your quality that's looking at it. And now you can build the homes for yourself, for the people, and really begin to, uplift the people in a grand way. And those are the three major areas. And obviously with that comes, the solar, the electricity, and the internet.
All right. Now I have a curiosity. What has all this plan, technology, training, studies had to do with church? Help me clarify that.
No, the church was where we already did that for the church. They had 146 churches they wanted to put in. It's not the church. It's not to do with the church. It's just that's where they already had. This is with the Christian Methodist Episcopalian Church. They already had gone in and made the agreements where they were putting their churches. They had already been in those communities, so they were building most of them, they were building new churches. They had old churches and they were trying to refresh them and build new churches. So what I made an agreement with them was that I wanted to come back and also to be able to build for the people there these other things. So I just kind of leverage. Again, that's where I leverage. They've already, have the relationships. They have the relationships. They were granted, land to build on. And I said, okay, this is what you need to build as far as to help them to be educated. This is what you need to build to make them self-sustaining. So that's what I'm bringing.
All right, that's fine. That's fantastic. I would like to explore more on those areas of the technology because those are very important. Only I'm here finding it difficult to understand the connection that it really has with the church, other than using it as a link to get to Africa. Because
that's all it was. That's all it is.
Because Nigeria actually is over evaporating with churches. Every corner you go is church. Right. People pray all across the corner. Because Nigeria appeared to me that we are living in a trance in terms of this miracle thing, churches everywhere. So, and most of these voices are also coming from the United States. They sponsor most of this project, no? So my curiosity is, why are we not spending those money on some of those things that you are making mention of just now, like solar, like helping to build small infrastructure, small training program where people can learn to take care of themselves? Because the churches we have in Nigeria, they are not helping people to liberate themselves. They are just like the way the European came with the church, using it to entangle the people and take it away from themselves, where they continue to abuse themselves. I don't see that to be different from even this wave of
those church that was my client, okay, and we helped them to fund them to build or to rebuild where they already had existing churches, or they already had an existing group who were going to church, and they really just redid their infrastructure. Okay, it's not for them to bring a new church there. And all we are doing is using that relationship and leveraging that relationship to bring them innovative. That's what STEM does. STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Bring that there so those people can be trained. That's why I said I'm a master trainer. So what we do is we will train and teach them the innovations, and then new innovations, they will need to develop that on their own. So you leave them with that. So now they've studied, and then the space program, they begin to study in those areas that they normally don't study in, because you're going to need a lot of people who are going to have to be a part of the space program as we begin to do those types of things. That's self-sufficiency, that's self-sustaining, that's ongoing forever. That's seeding your next generations. And then as far as bringing in the manufacturing and development, they've got to be trained. We're building manufacturing plants. Those got to be built. That's money there. When you build it there, The money stays there. That's teaching the people how you keep the money in your community by building it in your community, not you coming here to America or you going there to Europe or you going to Australia or someplace else and building infrastructure for them. No, you build infrastructure for yourself. And then you need houses. Okay, build your houses for yourself. You can do it. You got the manufacturing plant, you got the education, you have the material. What's the excuse?